Finally, I beat you, Grandma. Think you're better than me? Not anymore. Oh. Yeah, Hey guys, round 16 in the AFL this week. Tomorrow night, Friday the 13th. Opening game is Kangaroos v Carlton, so I'll get straight into that first up. Okay, so the first game of round 16 is the Friday the 13th clash at Etihad Stadium. Carlton v North Melbourne. It's going to be a very big game, very important in relation to the 8 because North Melbourne are 11th and Carlton are 9th. Carlton coming off a really great win last week against Collingwood, and North coming off a pretty disappointing loss to West Coast when they really should have won after being 35 points up. I'm going to tip Carlton. I think that their smalls are going to be pretty dangerous again tomorrow. They were great last week, especially Eddie Betts. I think he had 4 goals or 5 goals, something like that. He had a really great day. Yaron was good, Gardler was good. Walker was pretty strong up front, and their defence held up as well against Collingwood team that's usually kicking big scores this year. So I think they're going to win. Although, if North can get it to their tools in Petrie and Tarrant, then they may cause some problems. But at the moment, I'm still going to say that Carlton will win. Okay, so the next game is Saturday afternoon also at Etihad Stadium. It's Melbourne v Fremantle. I'm going to tip Fremantle for this. I don't really think I need to justify why I'm going to tip them. They're a better team. Pavlich had a great game last week. Got Fremantle over line against the Bulldogs by 38 points, something like that. Melbourne, again, disappointing. They just need to find some consistency as a team and individually because there's a lot of players that might have a good game and then don't follow it up. So that's what they've got to do. They're just got to keep being consistent, even if it doesn't bring results. Just individually know that you've left everything you can on the football field and you don't have anything left in the tank. You've given it your all. But I think still Fremantle should win. Port Adelaide v Essendon is the next game at Amy Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Port having lost 4 of the past 5 and Essendon 3 of the past 5. So both teams in pretty average form. Port coming off a disappointing loss to Adelaide last week, and Essendon getting smashed by St Kilda by 71 points last week. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. They're forecasting wet weather, so that may help Port Adelaide. But even then, I still think overall Essendon will have the superior team, so they should get the points. Richmond v Gold Coast has been surprisingly a tough game to tip because last time they met, if everyone remembers, Gold Coast actually knocked Richmond off, and back then everyone questioned the way Richmond were going and if Hardwick was the guy. Now they've been okay this year, pushing to get into the top 8, and Gold Coast showed some signs last week. They nearly beat Geelong. But even so, I still think Richmond are going to win. Now to the rematch of the grand final rematch, Geelong v Collingwood. Geelong coming off a bit of a scare last week against Gold Coast, so they still won by 14 points. And Collingwood lost their first game in 10 weeks to Carlton last week. So it's hard to judge this game because even though Geelong won last week, they didn't win in the way that we expected, in the way the old Geelong would have won, and Collingwood lost, so it's a bit of a tough game to choose. Though I still think at the MCG, Collingwood will win. St Kilda Brisbane, I'm going to tip St Kilda. You're looking at their recent form, Brisbane have been pretty good at home though terrible away, and this game is at the Gabba, so they will stay in the game. They had a disappointing loss against Sydney last week, and St Kilda had an amazing win last week against Essendon by 71 points. So if they can continue that form, they should win, and win by a comfortable margin of maybe 20 to 30 points. But because it's at the Gabba, I wouldn't rule the Brisbane Lions out. GWS Adelaide is the next game. I'm going to tip Adelaide. There isn't much to say about the Bulldogs-Hawthorn game. Hawthorn are going to win and win easily, even without Buddy Franklin playing. And now for the last game of the round, it's West Coast v Sydney, first versus second. Probably the most anticipated game of round 16. Reminds you a lot of the rivalry they had in 05 and 06 when they were in those grand finals and they split it, West Coast winning 1 and Sydney winning 1. And it could potentially happen again this year with both teams in such great form. The game's at Subiaco where I think West Coast are unbeatable, so I think they're going to win. Sydney have had some good wins lately, they've won 5 in a row I'm pretty sure, though everyone's kind of questioning their legitimacy against the top 4 teams, so this is going to be a big test for them. That's it for round 16. Comment below, let me know who you're tipping for this round. Like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.